Happy New Year! Happy New Year. I hope all of you had a wonderful Christmas. I know we did say that we were going to have our grandma with us, but she's actually been a bit poorly in the Christmas period, so we weren't actually able to do it. But this is a picture where we took her to the airport. She actually just left shortly after Christmas, after the New Year, to go back to Nigeria. So we took a quick picture with her before she went back. But yeah, sorry we couldn't do it with her. So hopefully, by God's grace, we'll do it with her one day in Nigeria. But anyway, today's topic is careers. Everyone knows African parents are always like, oh, go and do doctor, lawyer, engineer. My mum was one of those people. She has actually changed, but I'm sure she still has deep down some of those views. So in my case, my mum wanted me to be a lawyer. So, Mum, why did you want me to be a lawyer?
In our culture, you have to have a profession where if anything happens, you can always go back to and practice. So that's the bottom line, really. That's the main reason most parents in Africa, particularly in Nigeria, want the kids to end up being a doctor, a lawyer, engineer, architect, pharmacist.
What if I wanted to be, you said your version, as you said, is to learn a trade so that you can always go back to it, isn't it? That's what you said.
That's what I said.
So if that's the case, why can't I be a carpenter, lawyer, carpenter, plumber? Plumbers make a lot of money. They own their own business. They hire other plumbers to be part of their business.
That's true.
So why can't I be a plumber? So clearly there's also a social element to it as well.
Traditionally, particularly in Nigeria, most parents don't even think along those lines at all. In the UK, it might look okay to be a carpenter, a plumber, whatnot. But the culture back home in Nigeria, things like that are frowned upon, I must be honest.
Okay, so what if I wanted to marry a plumber? How would you feel about that? See, it just shows that you're still...
No.
Yes, Mom, you still have an issue with it.
No.
Okay, so can I marry a plumber?
Well, I'm not going to think about that now. It's not something I want to think about, so...
Why?
Nobody talks about things like that back home in Nigeria. It's not something that we discuss.
But how would you feel telling your friends, oh, my daughter, she's married to a plumber?
Things change.
She doesn't like it. She doesn't like it.
Things change over the years.
Yeah, but Mom, that's what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. Deep down, even though you're okay with me being a journalist, deep down, ideally, I don't know if you would still like me to be a lawyer, but you would definitely
we're not in
like
this
me
country.
to,
not in this country. Maybe back home.
You wouldn't want me to associate with people who you would consider not one of those top 3 jobs.
No. What I'm trying to say is, if you were to go back to Nigeria, it might be easier for you to be a lawyer because back home you can set up your own practice, and it's generally regarded as a noble profession. So maybe things will change over the years because over the years here, things have changed, as you know. So maybe in another generation, back home in Nigeria, it will be like UK.
Okay, but we're talking about UK.
Right
so
now.
How would you feel with me dating a plumber?
Because at the end of the day, you're still half Nigerian. Nigerian by
culture.
By culture, exactly. Even though, you're a British citizen.
So say, for example, if one of your grandchildren, your future grandchildren, say, Grandma, I'm going to school to become a carpenter.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. In other words, maybe down the generation, things will be different. It won't mean anything.
But how does it feel for you, though? I'm asking about you.
Hold on a second. After all, Jesus Christ was a carpenter when he was on earth.
But Mom, what about you? How do you feel about it?
And I don't have an opinion about that this moment.
You do have an opinion.
I don't have an opinion right now.
You do, Mom.
I would not want you to
do.
I would not want you to do carpentry or plumbing at this present time. Do you understand me?
Why?
Because this is the generation we are in. It's different. Things change.
So let's talk about my journey as a journalist. So, I said to you when I was younger, I wanted to be a journalist. Mm-hmm. And then when I got to university, I did English, by the way, in the hope that I would do journalism after university. And, but in the middle of uni, my mum really basically tried to push me towards law. And I was actually actively pursuing it for a while. So I was looking at law schools after university, blah, blah, blah. But then it just got to a stage where I just knew that I couldn't do law. I just knew, and I wanted to focus on journalism. Do you remember the day that I told you?
Yeah.
You were so upset.
Grandma and grandpa grandma was here.
I told you that I finally was going to do journalism when it was in university on Mother's Day in my second year. Do you remember?
I don't remember.
Mom, I remember like it was yesterday. This is one of the few memories that I have. Mum was so upset. She went on her knees and started begging me. Do you remember that?
I don't remember.
I remember that like it was yesterday. Like it was yesterday. You were so upset, Mum. You were like,
was that in your final year?
You were begging me. No, in my second year.
Oh, okay.
You were begging me, saying, please, don't do journalism. You know, do something that's more secure. You were so upset.
Well, no, definitely not. I'm not.
You were upset.
I was angry because you didn't
why
want
are you
to.
Angry?
Because I had done a lot of convincing. Took you to LSE for open day.
It was
London
College of Law.
Exactly, for an open day. You were kind of understanding the fact that maybe you should toe that line, but then you changed your mind at the last minute.
But you know why I changed my mind?
Because that's what you wanted. You wanted to do journalism.
Yeah, but also, but the main thing is, not the main thing, but one of the main reasons was, for me to pursue law would mean taking out a £25,000 loan, which I had to pay a year after school, a year after law school, whether I had a training contract or not. So with that at the back of my mind, I thought to myself, if I'm going to risk spending £25,000, it won't be on a career that I'm iffy about. It'll be on a career that, I'm sure about, or a mortgage, or a business. It wouldn't be on a career that I'm just doing just to please you.
That's what I mean. You're thinking alongside a typical British person.
Well, I'm British though.
This is how British people think. Nigerians don't think that way.
So
the
culture. Do you regret?
No. It is, at the end of the day, it's down to you. But most Nigerians don't think alongside the way you're thinking.
But that's why many Nigerians are not journalists. Do you wish I was a lawyer still?
No.
Look at me and tell me.
No, I'm happy you're a journalist because you're doing very well.
But what if my children want to be carpenters and plumbers? How you feel?
Like I said, that's a different generation. When we come to that bridge, we'll cross it.
No, but if I had one today.
When we come to that bridge, we'll cross it.
Oh, Mom, you just don't want to answer the question.
I've just said to you, when we come to that bridge.
That alone is answering the question.
No, when we come to that bridge, we'll cross it.
Well, you don't want them to be carpenters and plumbers. You don't.
Do you think my mom would love you to be a carpenter or
yeah, but grandma
No, that's what I'm saying. Different generations, different opinions.
Okay, so if they were here today, how would you advise them?
I mean, your children?
Yeah.
Of course, I would, as per the generation that we're in now, I'll advise them to do a traditional profession.
What's a traditional profession?
Whatever we're doing now, what we're saying now.
So what's that though? You just don't want to say.
Being a doctor, being a lawyer, engineer,
so that
architect,
means deep down you're
pharmacist,
still like that,
journalist.
There are some African parents that it's like they live their life through their children and they make them do
That's not fair.
No, but Mom, it's true. They make them do those professions,
Because they would have loved to be there.
Why do some African parents do that?
Because perhaps looking at their own lives and they have perhaps seen what might have been, and so they want the best for their children. So they want their children to do what they would have loved to do, but they didn't have the opportunity to do. So you don't blame them.
Okay, let's look at your family. So in your family, you have the firstborn who's a surgeon, business, architect. You're a pharmacist, doctor, business, lawyer, after that engineer/business. So all of you have more or less gone into like very, very professional roles. It's funny because, for example, my dad, I never told my dad that I was going to do journalism. I was so afraid about what he might think that I never told him, even till this day. Obviously, he knows now, but it's like he heard through the grapevine, isn't it? He heard through the grapevine.
I need to tell your grandparents.
Yeah, I told my grandparents. But I never told my dad I was that afraid of telling him, And I don't feel like any child should feel that way. I feel like you should be free to express who you are.
It's a cultural thing.
It is a cultural thing, but you can guide your child, according to what you think is right. But I think, some African parents take it too far when they're like, you must do this, you must do that. Like I know someone who did law And he said to me, "Oh, I'm doing it because my dad told me." I said, "Okay, so if your dad didn't tell you what you want to do, what would you want to do?" He's like, "He doesn't know." I'm like, "How can you not know? Everyone has some sort of idea what they might want to do, even if they're not 100% sure about it." He was like, he never even got to the stage where he even thought about it. His dad just said to him, "Do law," and that's all he's ever pursued.
A family friend of ours went to Oxford, lady, and did law and came out with first class. Went to the city, did all she needed to do, and worked somewhere in Germany, and then suddenly came back and said to the parents she wanted to go into fashion, and the dad was devastated.
So what if that was me? What if I went to Oxford, got a first in law, everything, then came out and said, "Right, I want to go into fashion"? How would you feel about that?
I won't get angry. What can you do?
Mom, you would get so mad.
No,
This place will burn
upset.
down.
No.
This place will burn down.
Okay, well that's what the
You
dad
would
did. The dad was
worry.
upset. The little girl's dad was very upset, but the mom was solidly behind her.
What if my children wanted to be a celebrity hairdresser?
I won't encourage that because not everybody can become successful as a celebrity hairdresser. That's like a lottery, literally. You can't be too sure.
But Mom, celebrity hairdresser is quite a lucrative job if you can make it. So there will
That's
always
if you can just say
that's
it.
if, yeah, if.
Yeah, you
But
just said
there will
if.
always be celebrities and there will always be people who have hair. So that's quite a lucrative,
There's lots
secure job if you ask
There's
me.
a lot of competition. In
Yeah,
it.
but then you have to push them. If they have a talent for that, then you should be able to push them, not just say, "Stop that nonsense, go and read your book, do law."
No,
That's what a lot of African parents do, despite the talent. I mean, we know someone who wanted to get into sports, but her parents were like, "Stop that nonsense." She could have been one of those people picking up an MBE right now for running some record in the Olympics, but her parents stopped her, and that's not nice, What do you think? What would you say to that?
You see, I won't have stopped her from pursuing that. After all, it's not a full career, so they could have encouraged her to carry on. I would have encouraged you if you were in sports. However, that would just not be your full-time work. Typical Nigerian brought up back home will not talk the way they're talking right now. Do you understand me? As I said, it's a cultural thing.
Yeah, I guess so, but I think it's also a class thing, because
It
you
could
can,
be, yeah.
no, it definitely is, because you can get a high street lawyer that maybe is making 40,000, 50,000 pounds. A plumber's doing exactly the same thing, but you would rather than be a lawyer than a plumber. True or false?
Yeah, there could be some
So
social
then
thing
there
there.
is yeah, definitely there's a social thing there. But I just want,
In Nigerian
I wonder
culture,
why that
you know
is.
why? I'll explain to you why. In Nigerian culture, everybody knows who is who. So they want to tell, oh, that family's child is so and so, and then they're proud, oh, my child has done well. And that one will say, oh, my child is so and so. So why is your child doing plumbing? That's not what to expect, So it's not. It's just a cultural thing.
Okay, so final question. If my children say to you, "Grandma, we want to be an electrician," what's your response?
I'll just laugh it off because I think they don't know what they're saying. And like I said, it all depends on you and your husband.
Careful, Mum, you have to be careful with that. I hope you haven't been complaining. I hope the sound is not badging you.
It's okay.
We don't know. You haven't been listening to it.
It's all right.
Mum, you don't keep telling about this scarf.
Okay. It's okay. It doesn't.
What if the sound is all muffled? We'll have to do the whole thing again,
Okay, check it and let's see.
Anyway, finish what you were saying.
That's what I've said. I've said everything.
So you'll laugh it off.
Yeah. Because I think they're too young to understand.
No, but what if they said that at like 18?
That's what I'm saying. That will come to that bridge, we'll cross it. The things will have changed by then. Cultural issues and, generational issues will have changed at that time.
Okay. Well, this is the 3rd episode of My African Mom and Me. Come back to us. Make sure you subscribe, and tune in for the next episode next time.
See you next episode.